Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR, coming at you with the latest edition of VR news, with not the most amount of news to talk about today. A bit like last week, but there is more, at least. And
there's always sun.
Yeah, there's always something in the VR
There's not
world,
a lot of sun.
even if it's just one something like last week. But last week, too, we did announce the nominees for our 2024 Ruff Talk VR Awards show. And today, we have the winners for all the marbles where it really matters. You know, it's one thing to be nominated. Everyone who's nominated should be proud. You know, there was a lot of great games in 2024, but there can only be one winner per category. Although we did include some runner-ups, not in every category, but some categories that we feel really did deserve it. So a little bit of news. We'll go over that first, and then we'll go into the winners. Does that sound good with you?
Yeah.
We'll get the news done first. Not too much like huge stuff, but, you know, mostly positive.
I can hear the clicks of thumbs. 30 second, 30 second, 30 second, 30 second, 30 second.
Last week, let me see who won. Gotta build it up. Last week, our only news was about those headsets kind of in a brick state after the holidays. So we do have some updates on that. And besides that, it's all real positive stuff today. So that's good, including that in December, to end the year, right after the holidays, December 2024 saw the second highest percentage of Steam VR users, or Steam users using a VR headset ever. So the second highest month ever. That's huge. And Upload VR did specify when adjusted for Chinese users. So even the graph that they put shows non-Chinese Steam users using a VR headset. I don't know why they're excluded in that adjustment, but you know, it's cool to see clearly at the end of the year, not only Quest, but we saw an increase in PC VR users. That's a good cherry on top of the year.
I think as sales continue to go with Quest headsets, you'll see
more PC VR users.
Of course.
It happened to us,
Of course.
right?
We
We didn't start with PC VR.
I think there's some that are going to buy the Quest just to use that as the catalyst for PC VR.
Yeah. I mean,
Instead of going high-end PC and then high-end headset, if you don't need to, you know.
it's probably good to make sure that, you know, you love the medium first for, you know, a comfortable $300 to $400 before you potentially upgrade a computer. But I mean, for people like me and you, it's a no-brainer. Like, VR is amazing. We tried it. So the pipeline to PC VR for us was, if anything, inevitable. So yeah, definitely a cool way to end the year with a nice little...
Well, you know what makes me wonder now? This is like, I do not enough time in a day for sure for what I'm going to ask of. But I wonder how like gaming PC sales were over the holidays and or components for people building higher end PCs. If there's been any sort of spike in that area as well. As people who have good desktops, but like really want to make them better with a better video card. So I guess you could just track the video card sales alone.
Well, I feel like that there's been more Quests sold than 4090s.
Well, yeah, dude, come on, man.
I'm curious.
Very expensive.
I'll look into that for next week. I'm curious how many
What do we have?
4090s.
We have the 4080s,
4070is.
4070s.
Yeah.
Is there even a 4080?
I don't know, man. I'm not the most educated with that stuff.
I know the one we have is good.
Yeah. Or the one that we have can run everything on ultra high settings, and I have no issues with wireless PC VR gaming anywhere in my household. So
Microsoft Flight defaults on the highest setting.
huge props to our Ruff Talk VR community for rallying that to be a thing. Love my gaming computer too. Yeah. Spoonfed was a big part of it, and so was the community at large as well too. So,
he finalized it.
Yeah, he gave the final the push through the finish line
in a very ridiculous way.
So that's awesome. So yeah, like I said, the Quest
Grim
standalone VR user, they fall in love with VR. They start to look at what else is out there. Them becoming a PC VR user is a pipeline that I think we're going to see only become more common as well.
Yeah, man. I just like that everything's It's not one for one, but there's some sort of like living space for all parties, and everyone's going to win because of it. I mean, obviously, more headsets sold, the more people that percentagely could go to PC VR.
Maybe Valve drops another headset next year.
Maybe Google does some pretty cool shit
with their Android XR headset with Samsung.
Possible.
A lot of headsets on the way too, so that was a cool one.
And dude, there's going to be more players coming in. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I don't think we've hit the peak amount of VR users by any means.
I don't think we've even started.
No, haven't even scratched the surface. So big times ahead. I know a lot of people like to be doom and at the end of every year, there's those like VR is dying.
VR
articles,
is dead.
And it's like, man,
died with the internet. Time isn't real.
If you want to go through year by year,
I don't believe in watches.
If you want to go year by year, and then you'll pick a year that had your personal favorite game releases that ever came out, you know, that's possible. You might go like the best game releases ever were 2022, 2020, but that's because of where your personal attachment to gaming lies. You know, I hear people be like, you know, the best games came out in 2017.
I would argue that,
but it's like that's just what you experienced when you start. So that's what you're attached to, you know.
Maybe I'll go real deep with this one. Then one could say, as great as all the games are, whatever your favorite game is, we haven't seen the best of anything yet.
Correct, and
10 years from now, we can say we still haven't seen the best of anything. Yet.
And those like favorite, best, those all come down to opinions. And for my, you know, knowledgeable to what we know as, you know, media and such, it really feels like the industry has grown a lot in 2024.
You can't deny it, dude. So I mean, there were also, you know, some hits that the tech industry took, but I think as an overall, I mean, the success stories are real, and there's a lot of them. 25 is going to be a little harder.
That's just because of the state of the store to end things, which they always say things are improving.
There's always a workaround
like that,
too,
but
you know, so it's like if you have the knowledge to know this, it's like, you know, you have the ability to do something about it. You know, start really. I mean, hit those socials hard. That'd be my number one advice. I mean, just go hard, go deep. Some of the best studios we see out there are always on the socials. But anyways,
you want to take us away with the next one?
I will. I'm not going to go in order because I actually, the first one on my list is the last one I want to talk about because it's my favorite. Not to be judgy.
I know, dude. I get it.
So I'll start with my least favorite of the three, but it's still good news, you know? So, I mean, this is cool because, I mean, there's already discounts for college students and such, but Meta's going to give you a 10% discount on Quest headsets.
If you're a U.S. student.
Yeah, I should specify. If you're a U.S. student. But, I mean.
You have to be a U.S. student with a .edu email address. So that means college student.
And they do that shit for other software, too.
Although, not for nothing, I think a lot of high school kids these days are getting .edu emails. That would make sense if they're hooking them up with, like, Google accounts and stuff like that.
Well, a lot of schools are to the point where everything's on
Chromebooks.
Laptop or Chromebooks. Yeah. So it's like there is no more bucks. Where you look at the schools around us, it's like I see kids schlepping 40-pound backpacks. You know? Like our luggage didn't look that. Dude, honest to God, I've ranted about this before, and obviously not on here. But so when I went to school, you get away with leaving your books in the locker, right? You didn't necessarily need, or you just bring home certain books that you would need. These kids like schlepp their whole life in a backpack.
Yeah, they didn't let us leave our books there.
So I've always been concerned about future back problems for the kids that are carrying. I mean, the little fries, you know, the little McNuggets you see walking around with backpacks.
Keep in mind, this has been going on since I was a kid.
Well,
me and my sister, we used to go, miles with probably a 30-pound backpack in first grade. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
we're adults now. We got some back pain. So there's your study.
There you go. Problem solved.
No, it is pretty intense. I went through that.
Yeah, I always just, and I say that nowadays. I get before. I really do.
We didn't get lockers in school.
If you told me I had to carry a 40-pound bag to school, I would never have gone.
Yeah, I didn't get a locker that I was allowed to leave stuff in until middle school.
What?
Yeah. 1,000,000%. Elementary school and such before that? No way.
Well, elementary.
You're not allowed
you
to leave stuff.
Elementary, you get a
cubby.
cubicle. Yeah,
Cubby, yeah.
Little cubby.
Not allowed to leave stuff there, though.
Isn't it crazy that many years between us, but that's still like, that's like a standard.
Now I think about it,
upon.
You had this dad. Oh, you had to bring the books home because you needed the books for study.
Yeah.
Homework and such.
But
to be a kid.
Not every kid. I don't know. Anyways.
So, digress a bit, but.
I went on my rant, but to go back, U.S. students, 10% discount.
If you have a .edu email address.
So can it be stacked with like affiliate codes?
Check this. You get 10% off Quest headsets and Ray-Ban smart glasses. If you're a student with a .edu email address.
The fact that they're giving the Ray-Bans with that is kind of, but can it be stacked with other promotions?
I don't know.
Like, could you get the 10% off because you got the EDU and
then use like a 25?
Yeah, man.
Maybe. I don't know.
Get freaking 35% off because that's a game changer.
And other tech companies like Apple, they do similar things. Apple doesn't do it with the Vision Pro though, but they do it with a lot of theirs. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You know, if you're
I mean, college kids need to play games. They got beer pong, right? Now you can do it from different houses.
No, that one is a cool one though.
Yeah, no, I think it's I mean, look, they don't have to do shit. So if they're just going to be like, hey, if you want one, obviously in my head, if you're getting it, it's for gaming. I don't see it. It's not like the Apple Vision Pro being like, hey, we're going to give you this if you're a student. We'll give it to you 50% off because you know that it's supposed to be for more production. And
at that point, you know, it's like, so 10% off a Quest 3S, that's knocking you down $30. You go up to a 512 Quest 3, you're getting $50 off, right? At 10% off, that's not bad.
How cool would remote learning have been if everyone was on Quest headsets?
I mean, when the pandemic first hit, it was only the Quest 1 out for standalone VR. The Quest 2 was a big step.
Not today. I don't want to say that because I just feel bad. But if that shit happened today, that'd be a lot different.
Correct. The Quest 1 launched at a higher price than the Quest 2 did. If just in time, you know, if the Quest 2 was already out, you know, maybe not released like right before, you know, came out a couple months before. If that was out for the pandemic, dude, I know the Quest 1 was out, like I said, but higher price point, different tech. Quest 2 was much more mass adoptable. That would have been an interesting thing. They were just a little bit too late on coming out with it.
But still.
Yeah. And this one is on the positive side of last week's doom and gloom news where people were having issues with having, you could say, bricks in their stockings when they went to go turn on a Quest after the holidays. And there was a software update issue and it was bricking some headsets. And last week we talked that Meta support or Meta software side, they had resolved the majority of the issues just on the software side. But if you are still one of those users that are affected, they now have like an online portal thing where you can check the serial code of your Quest. And if it's one of the affected serial codes from the software update, they'll issue a replacement even out of warranty.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, because it did affect headsets that weren't turned on in a while. Shit, I should have done that.
Yeah, you check if you're eligible to proceed with a replacement by entering your serial number.
Because I'm still wondering, dude, if that whole rigmarole I had to go through.
It's interesting that they're able to know like what batch of serial codes are affected.
That's why they have batch numbers, though.
By this, yeah.
That is the exact reason. Same thing with food. That way, when something happens, you can go, okay, you can at least narrow it down.
I guess also
which makes me believe there was something definitely wrong with the software.
A lot of people do complain about the rolling updates of Meta, but I guess this is a good argument for it of why you don't push it to 100% of people on day one. Everyone should.
Everyone's getting free headsets.
Yeah.
Man. No, that'd be crippling, dude.
So I get why because then they were able to, you know, whatever, I don't know what percentage it rolled out to, but whatever it did, they were probably able to stop it before it was full blown. Well, at least they made good on that.
Alrighty. This one's cool. Had my attention because it had the word puzzle in it. So, of course, it's going to get some attention from me. But Epyka, I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Epyka, Epyka. Epyka is going to, January 9th, is going to be dropping a VR puzzle adventure story-ish game.
That's how they describe it. Right? It says that I think you're going to follow archaeologist Scott Hudson with his dog Jack.
Scott Hudson.
A man and his dog is this game.
No, the graphics look really good. We watched the trailer, but again, it kind of had me a puzzle. So if you got puzzle in your description, I'm going to have to check that out. So January 9th, it's only a couple days away.
$10. That's not bad.
Yeah. I was actually I was a little thrown at first. I was like, oh, only $10? Wow, am I getting to that point where if it's $10, I'm going to start being like,
that's how we used to be with $5. That's something we've talked about before. Is sometimes a game can be too cheap for its quality,
even though it might be the perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, how long did we overlook free-to-play games? We wouldn't even touch
Cards
them.
and Tankers.
Yeah, just slept on it for so long.
Staring at it all the time.
If it's free-to-play, it can't be too good.
That game's going to suck, dude. If you're going to give it away, how good can it be?
Inflation's hitting. That's now your perception of $10.
Gods of Gravity was free, was it not?
Yep. Oh, it's another one we slept on for a while. That one came by listener request because we weren't touching it. People were like, you got to talk about this one.
Was free until we saw, they have
the founder. Every free to play game has a way to get some sort of.
You got a founder. What's the best founder?
We're at name on the wall. Deal.
It's
sold.
still there today.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're crushing it with Eeps now.
Fucking Ghost of Tabor. I'll forever be grateful.
That one's not free to play, but the Founders Edition, yeah.
I'll be grateful forever that existed
when we started playing.
Because it went away after that.
I see a DLC coming out. I don't even sweat it.
No, I never even, honestly, I have such faith in the system. I never go, I have to jump in and make sure that it exists. It's like, no, I know it's going to exist when I jump in. Yeah. So I'm not worried about it.
Good to be on the Founders Edition. But I'm excited for your last piece of news too. That's when you were teasing at the start.
Oh, that's right. I'm rolling.
You got 3, I got 2.
That was it for the news.
That was it for the news.
Oh
for
my
me.
God. But yeah, so I think we're ending with a bang with this one, especially I think it's going to give more incentive for people who don't. But the next Ray-Ban Meta glasses are getting HUD display.
That's going to be huge.
All right, so it should be worth noting that our multiple pairs of Ray-Bans are not going to have the HUD display.
No, this is for the next generation.
The next gen ones. And that's, you know what? This is what it takes, though, to go, because I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty content with my Ray-Bans. I love them.
But they are missing a screen.
Well,
they're not missing one. It's not like it was never advertised. Yeah,
until that's confirmed, it doesn't exist, right? But when it does exist, and it's going to do everything that mine glasses do, but I'm going to know that there's glasses that have HUD display and I don't have it, of course I'm going to have it.
And you were
crazy, man.
And there's, like you said, some fine print with this where back in July, the information, they had said that the next generation of smart glasses from Meta would not be branded with Ray-Bans. But
due to size issues.
Yeah, that's what they said, that they balked at the thickness of the designs. You know what, man, though? Part of me thinks that was like a confused reporting from the information. And they might have, I wonder if they got news about Orion and interpreted that as the smart glasses, because Ray-Ban's not partnered for Orion.
I mean, it's 100% possible.
And it's possible they just mixed up, got
misconstrued
just enough to mix it up, without there being news of Orion in the public yet. But contrary to that, Meta actually did extend their partnership with the parent company of Ray-Bans. And beyond that, they also invested 5% into the company. That's a good way to get, if Ray-Ban, if their parent company was actually thinking of not going with them with the next generation, taking a 5% stake in a company is a pretty good way to get them to change their mind.
Yeah, you own 5%.
You go, what? You don't want to do this?
You want to see me do this more?
You don't want to do this in the next generation? How about
I just wonder what they're going to cost in comparison.
With a screen?
Are we going to start getting into, some pretty scary price points?
Right now, the Ray-Bans are priced very good. That price point that they're at,
good for what? $300.
I mean, what I mean is
upwards to upwards to 5, right?
If they can keep that price point, is what I mean. Like
That's the thing. How could you?
I don't know.
They'd have to first substantially knock down the price of these, right? Because
now they're past. They might even stop selling them. The Wayfarers right now is $329 off their website.
So you're after tax and all blah blah blah, just almost $400.
That's a good guess. $399 would probably be what the next generation would cost. $499 would be it. Would make these not the hit product that they were.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna discontinue all these and give you these for the same price. No, you already know, man. You got to take that $329 and start going. That's going up to $399.
I'm thinking $399.
Yep.
And they say that the on screen will be able to help frame photos, show notifications, output text.
Is it going to be? I got questions. Is it going to be a standard colored HUD, which is the green that colorblind people can't see?
I want to know what the full extent of it's going to be. Can I see a YouTube screen yet, or are we not at that point? I don't think we're at that point.
Sound
with
like
these.
It sounds like it's just going to be like tracking HUDs.
Mm-hmm. And show notifications. That's pretty cool. Where like you could see like you got a text message or something like that.
I don't think we're getting full color display.
Yeah.
Shit. But I'm curious the color.
We're already talking about it though. We're already curious. So at the very least, the biggest things with this is going to be what's the full extent of the HUD, and what does it cost? What do you think is the price point breaker for this, where it's not going to be a hit product? Past $499?
But I wouldn't be surprised. Depending on, I mean, dude, if it's legit just a tracking HUD looking through your camera and does what your cell phone does, then no, $399. You know, I don't see it really being worth. But if you're talking other shit, like the ability that you will see, like, hey, text notification, blah blah blah. You could get up in the $500 range, depending on, like, if I'm doing, you know, maps or whatever, Google Maps, and is it gonna show me on my HUD display like the little arrow?
That's our dream. I don't think we're at that point yet.
But that's what I want to know.
Wait a second. If you have, because Google Maps
mixed reality could do,
you might be able to get text notification on your thing of the next map direction. Right? Because that's what your phone does. It pings those, like, it'll be
you'll definitely get the audio. You'll get that no matter what.
Yeah, but
but
you could already get that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, will it also, and again, it just, what is this HUD? I think like fighter jet, right? Because they have HUD display.
Yeah.
I only know of one car company that ever did HUD display in my lifetime, and people hated it.
Turns out they give you full biometrics. Like, here's your pulse.
Absolutely hated it. But if it's just a standard green military HUD display thing, like, can I look at people and it's going to be like, that's David, not a threat?
I don't think so at all. I think by HUD,
he just got out of prison.
I think all they mean by HUD is that it's going to have like some sort of digital element, some sort of screen visual effect on it. I don't think it'll be like some fighter jet HUD.
Well, that's not the most
with the green tint and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's just going to be like normal glasses, not see anything, and then occasionally something will pop up.
What color?
Could be like white text. I don't know.
I don't think white text is
black. Whatever. Same as your phone. I don't know.
Man. I got a lot of questions.
Probably a blue background with white text. I don't know.
Blue background. We're just gonna black out your eyes.
I don't have the image at all of something like some like science fiction.
I want like
HUD.
I want like
I don't think that's
Terminator
what they mean by
shit.
HUD. I think HUD is like a catch-all term.
I wanted to know, like, I can go, hey Meta, that's Damien. It goes, okay. And then when I walk in, if I see you from a distance, it's always scanning. Ding, 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 and it goes, cling, that's Damien. It goes, Damien's 242 feet away.
I think that we're a long time away from that. That's something completely different. But you'll
mark that guy an asshole.
Yeah, I think it'll just be you're sitting there, and then it would be like the same way your phone pops up notifications.
You get a little flashing light.
No, I think
I'm not paying $100 for a little asterisk.
Just a little text box. That's all.
I don't know, man. Lots of questions, but super excited for it.
Yeah, but
I'm probably a day oneer.
After all that skepticism.
Let's be honest. As we get close, this is just lip service right now. But as we get closer to and Meta's pretty good at their marketing, so we'll start seeing what they want us to see. And that's all I'm going to have to see is like, what is it? What does it do and how much? And I'm sure it's not going to be like I said, but you got to admit, if you could mark people as people you knew, or like this cashier rips you off all the time. So, you know, your glasses will know. Don't go to aisle 4.
Yeah, I think that those are more Orion territory. If anything, we're a long way away. I think this is just going to be, you know, like just like an Apple Watch. You know how Apple Watch just pops up the text messages and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think
but that's full color. So you're making that. I mean, then that would be like
I don't understand what you mean.
Meaning, like, is the HUD going to be multiple colors?
I imagine it'll probably be just like the phone apps, the phone notifications, like blue background. Then it'll probably disappear into nothing. That's my vision of this. That's what I interpret. It'll be just like a box that pops up and then disappears.
Oh man,
a box with text saying "turn right onto this street." You know,
people just watching Netflix all day.
Mm-hmm. They said you can use it though to help frame photos. Before,
well, and that's what gives me, like, if I open my cell phone,
that's the part that might line up to there being some sort of like square box locking in.
Yeah,
I think I'm disagreeing with you because I don't want you to be right. I think I like the idea of this just being a on-screen notification pop-up thing.
Hey, bud,
more than you being like,
you got a message.
Who's that over there? What's that guy's name? I forget it.
Hey, Meta, what's his social status?
What's his?
He scored 3.3.
What's his social credit right now?
I mean, I don't think it's out of the scope of realism. Not saying with these next glasses, right? Like, oh, those were the glasses that did it. Mm-hmm. But in my lifetime, the ability, I think, to be able to put on hardware and know just that, there's no doubt, dude. We've given up, like, I mean, there's cameras everywhere, right? Like, legitimately. Mm-hmm. If there's not cameras, there's satellites. If there's not satellites, there's fucking drones. It's just like, it's never ending information. Just, so I don't know.
But anyway,
social status will be a thing.
Cool stuff, though, to see the next generation of Ray-Bans get an actual HUD.
I want it. I want it now. I want to know more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm cool with the teaser. Appreciate it.
Biggest thing is
excited, but
full extent of the HUD.
Got questions.
And full cost. That's all I need to know. And it's cool to see that Ray-Bans is sticking with it because I think that it's a marketable product. It's more marketable to say Meta's Ray-Bans than say Meta's smart glasses.
Listen, Ray-Ban was hot in the 80s, early 90s. I mean, dude, it was hot. Now, I mean, there's a lot of comparable competition in the glass world, if you want to say. So I think it's like they're looking to their own future. Be like, shit, man. Sooner, I mean, someone's going to make these glasses, right? Dude, the self-tinting ones that we have. Come on. I mean, there's sunglasses and they're not sunglasses.
Well, that's standard technology. That's everywhere.
Yeah, but it's tied in with this electronic technology. So,
but cool stuff from Ray-Bans to get that.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for this next generation. So, as always, before we go into our, I won't say as always, we always do this part of the show. We don't always do the winners of our award show.
We do it every week.
Every week. But
every week.
As always, we do an on-air shout-out for our Patreon peeps on our on-air shout-out tier. So, huge shout-out, as always, to Asim, Amelia, Carson, Earth Witness, Aspire Mike, Jake, Crispy, and Shoes. So thank you all for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who participates and hangs out in our Discord. Always cool to see some new faces in there. And like I always say too, you can join our Patreon. You can become a person on that shout out list by visiting the link in our show notes and joining our Patreon there. You can also find the link for our Discord server, which is free to join. You know, unlike our Patreon's paid tiers, Discord, you can just join and hang out, and I promise it's a good time.
Good time and very well moderated.
Yeah, our moderation team, they crush it. Amelia, Shoes, and King Canuck. So come join an awesome, fun crew of people. And I can't believe we made it 30 minutes into the episode without me plugging this, but we announced at the end of last week our 2025 showcase VR Gaming Showcase.
And the work has begun.
We had previously talked about doing a date in March, but just due to some other events in the VR industry, there's the way the cookies crumble, the way the crumbs fall, we had decided that in April was a much better time. So if you're a developer or studio looking to participate in our second annual, the 2025 Ruff Talk VR Gaming Award Show, we have a link. I'll throw it in the show notes where you can drop an application to participate as well. Which, hey, if you got an exclusive trailer, I'm not really in the business of turning too much people down.
Oh, was it exclusives? No.
Yeah, you come with an exclusive, so it's an application, but there's not like, it's not going to be like we're doing funding applications and I got to be real strict with stuff. I want to show off as many VR games as possible. I'm sure you feel the same. Of course, we have philosophies on things like certain time limits things should be for a properly maintained showcase. So there is that factor, but I'm excited.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes in the behind the scenes. Remember how much we were sweating the day of last year's?
There's a lot that could go wrong.
How many times we watched it?
A lot that can go wrong.
Good times. And I'm excited for this year. There's a lot that we did good last year, but I think that there's a lot that we can even do better. So I'm excited to do our second annual one. So like I said, if you're looking to participate in that, also visit the link in our show notes. And if you've been enjoying the show, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, subscribe on YouTube, your favorite audio platform, drop us a 5-star review there. And let's get back to who the actual winners are. So do you want to kick it off or do you want me to? We'll start from bottom to top, obviously. It's some tough ones this year. A lot of them actually, they were tough for what we do is we all pick our personal winners, me and him, me and my father here, co-host Stratus over here.
Me and that fucking guy.
Me and that fucking guy. We each pick who we think should win and then we meet up and we discuss it. So it was tough for me with a lot of these categories to iron out who I thought was the winner. And then we met up and a lot of these categories we were on the same page on.
Yeah.
So tough discussion with myself internally. I think you went through the same thing and ended up on very similar results for a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was a few of them where some blood, sweat, and tears were shed in the discussion of who won. But for the most part, we were pretty on the same page.
I went first last time, so that announced the.
I don't mind you getting the game of the year again.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to mix it from.
No, I think last year I got game of the year.
Okay.
So I think it's fair.
So then I go first.
Yeah.
That
way it's like the same order. It sounds fair to me, right? So you'll kick us off. I mean, we're 40 minutes in. Here we go. With the winners of our 2025 Ruff Talk VR Award Show.
The news was the long part.
Yeah.
This is it's pretty much scripted as far as I can see it.
Yeah. You know what? It's actually some of the most scripted our show gets.
Yeah, usually it's not. We have notes. That's usually what we work on. This is like.
We don't tell each other what we're each got to say about each news point either. So this part we discussed quite a bit off air. I guess we know each other's opinions pretty well. All right, take us away. Take us away with the first one.
First one category was, let me just make sure. Sometimes I have a tendency to skip. Boy, oh boy, that would suck. Co-op Game of the Year. So I'll read off who the nominees were and then who is the winner of the 2024 Co-op Game of the Year. We had Into the Black, Zero Caliber 2, Green Hell VR, Arizona Sunshine Remake, and Dragon Fist VR.
Because it left early, it left at App Lab time, it had its full official store launch in this year. I like how you did that with the black box there too.
That's right.
The black circuit that filled in. That was nice.
Technology.
I didn't do that.
I was actually shocked. I was like, I better do it because I'm sure you're going to. So anyways, this year's winner, Into the Black.
Ooh, I think very well deserved.
Yeah. And with that, we did both mutually agree on a runner-up. And they're all, and it sucks when we were doing some of the runners up because we're like, man, this really sucks because they're all really good. But Dragon Fist VR.
That's definitely our runner-up one.
Yep.
But all those are nominated. Look, you got nominated out of all of the games that came out this year that were co-op. They all are kind of runner-ups in their own way. But it's good to give if there's one that like we were on the fence about between two, it's good to give acknowledgement to that other one.
Where it's deserving. So congratulations, Into the Black.
And coming off of co-op game of the year, the other half of our multiplayer games. We break it up into co-op game of the year and also this one, PvP game of the year. And our nominees were Brazen Blaze, Mannequin, Trivia Crack, Exploding Kittens, and Galaxy Kart, which I expected to get a little heat on this category because our thing wasn't all shooters or nothing. So, I mean, look, those are players competing against players, and those are some of the most fun I've had with that category, that style of gaming this year in VR. And our winner for PvP Game of the Year, we have, from Fast Travel Games, Mannequin.
Yay.
Ooh, very well deserved in that one.
When I play tested Mannequin way back when, I knew they had something special.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I love that they've, right? They haven't stopped with it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what makes it even a little sweeter.
Even with coming out with Action Hero this year, they seemed like they're still very much supporting Mannequin. Like, it's like full steam ahead with that game still. So that's cool to see. And we did have a runner-up on this category as well. Besides the winner, Mannequin, we were both kind of on the same place about a runner-up on this one for Brazen Blaze. Another, kind of surprised it didn't catch on more for being kind of Super Smash Bros-y in its own way. Destroy environments too. I mean, it was a fun game. I think that's a little bit more in the sleeper side of things this year as well.
But kudos to Mannequin. Well deserved, honestly. And they brought something original to the table, which just makes me happy. All right. So next, I love this category. Love all the entrants for it. Strategy Game of the Year. We actually decided on no runner-up for this one. But the nominees were Shogun's Empire, Tropico on MetaQuest, Townsman VR, Neon Squad Tactics, and Augmented Empire.
Let's see.
And the winner, Shogun's Empire.
Woo! Very well deserved.
This is another one that when we were like, all right, would you have strategy game? Boom. I was like, all right, move on. Because we're both agreeing on this. Like, pretty good. I'd also put Shogun's Empire into the, like, should have been marketed harder.
Well, that's because the studio, just like with Warplanes, they just drop shit, call it a day.
Yeah, but Warplanes is Warplanes, I guess. But, you know, they have something special, you know, and I don't know. I'd be upset to find out, like, no, it's just a pet project.
So very well deserved on that.
Yeah, Shogun's Empire.
No direct runner-up on that one either. No. We were both kind of clean cut on that one. Of course, Tropico was great. All of them were great. All right, our next category and winner for our ever prestigious gaming award show, the Just for Funsies, you know,
got security outside and everything.
Yeah, it's very. You should see the documents, how they're stored for this stuff. You know,
you won't find them in my garage.
It's intense. Somebody holding on to it the whole time. You know, like when they brought out the Orion. So, jokes aside, next category we have Sport Fitness Game of the Year, and this is one we were in agreement on. And let's see the reception of it, because, well, one might argue, oh, it doesn't count, but I think it was so good it has to count.
I don't see why it doesn't count.
So the nominees for this year was Sports Fitness Game of the Year, sports/fitness game. So it could be a game that, you know, replicates a real life sport, or it could be a game that's focused on fitness aspect. We have Blacktop Hoops, Thrill the Fight 2, Home Sports, Premier League Player, V-Rider, Action Hero, Masters of Light, and Miracle Pool. And with that, the winner for this year, we have Thrill the Fight 2. And the reason I said there might be some controversy on that is because it is in early access. But look, even in its current state,
we've had early access winners before.
It is one of the top selling sports games. Hell, one of the top selling apps on the store already. Huge props to the developer there, where he has Thrill the Fight 1 and 2 on like the top 10 list for top selling. He's crushing it. But dude, of all those, it's the most fun I've had. And if we're going to break down each one of these winners to our own personal, what did we have the most fun with, then, Thrill of the Fight too.
I leaned heavy on Thrill of the Fight too, only because I would make an argument the runner-up to me is more fun. But the one that had me feeling like I was working out the most while playing it, or really had me like believing, was Thrill of the Fight too. It's like, I'm sorry, but you do a couple of rounds of that,
You're sweating.
it's pretty legit,
But we did
some
have
of the other ones were just, I mean, they're like one for ones, just like the real thing. And some of them were, like V-Rider was, hell, motorcycle racing. It's a great sport, and they crushed it. But the one that really like hit the category for me the most was Thrill of the Fight too.
cool stuff there.
But the runner-up,
Like you referenced, that we do have a runner-up on this one. And one that we were both in agreement on with as well, Action Hero.
that one checks 2 boxes.
Yeah.
But you can play it without
Really moving around. You'll still move around, but
your
not
quads. You're going to still, and that's what amazed me the most was I was like, man, because I'm in a tight play space. So I'm like, I can get away with the not moving as much as I did in Germany, or certainly you. But the squatting and shit, yeah, you're not going to avoid that. There's no squat mode.
So that was a
Your
fun,
leggies are going to burn.
that was a fun category too. A stacked one as well.
Yeah.
So actually, you know what's funny? The next category that you're going to read, it's one of 2 categories I omitted myself from due to potential,
Due to bias.
due to conflict of interest. So actually, the voters of this one was yourself and
The community.
whatever the
didn't even know
results
it.
were for that poll.
So we got Rhythm Game of the Year. The nominees were Trombone Champ Unflattened, Maestro, Songbird, Band Hero, and Taiko Frenzy. Dude, I really like Taiko Frenzy a lot, by the way. That was really fun. But the winner 2024 Rhythm Game of the Year is Maestro.
Ooh.
Yep.
Very well deserved on that one. Very innovative. Very fun.
I'll tell you, Songbird's great, but you got to know how to sing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and not everybody's going to be that comfortable to like, sing.
That was a tough
Special kind of-
category.
Yeah,
This year
it
was so many
It
good
was.
ones.
I felt bad that not for nothing, your opinion still was like, I just wanted to know
Mhm.
what you would have done.
Figured it's best to remove myself from official
Yeah.
voting, though, just to avoid any potential.
Takes it out of the equation. But there was a workaround, and it was fair, so it wasn't just like me going, well, this is what I want,
Yeah.
so it worked out perfect.
If we had a game that we made together and it was nominated for an award that we vote on, we would probably take ourselves both out of that.
That's why we don't enter to win shit.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem right.
So, next category. This was another tough one. It's a genre that we personally love, so it means a lot to us, and it was stacked this year. We have Puzzle Game of the Year. The nominees were Another Door, Squingle, Silent Slayer, Escaping Wonderland, and Infinite Inside. And like we say, there can only be one. But there's a runner-up on this one, but there's only one official winner. Our winner of 2024 Puzzle Game of the Year, we have Silent Slayer from Shell Games. And
Well
an
done.
extremely close second place. This might have been the hardest, top 2 or 3 hardest categories to really put the seal on who the winner
The
was.
nail in the coffin.
Because I guess that's actually fitting for Silent Slayer. Because in close second place, we have Another Door.
Yeah.
Great game as well.
They did really good, dude.
You were saying in our off-air discussion, the hardest VR escape room you've played.
So far.
There's a couple of those puzzles are just so damn good.
Until I expect you to die for.
And the co-op elements of it. So it was a tough category this year.
I will make no more jokes about it coming out in August either.
I think some people didn't know if you were joking or not.
Yeah.
That was funny. I was like, look what you did.
I just don't ever
I was
want to
busting
get
your
an email
balls.
from them being like,
Hey,
cut
I'd
it
be
out,
like,
man.
with your luck, you'd be right. That's always the fear, right?
I don't think that didn't cross my mind a little. Like, we get the joking, but when you're actually right about the date. It's kind of a fucking problem internally. So,
which that wasn't the case either. We just saw people in our Discord maybe not knowing if it was a joke or not.
maybe it was.
So we were like, oh, probably
I knew when I
good.
saw the side eyes, because I know whenever you use that, why you're using it. And I'm like, man, I swear to God. I actually was going to like re-listen to everything.
Be like, how serious did I sound?
Did I say that? Like, look, it's coming in August.
No, we have no news of I Expect
No
You to Die
joke.
for.
I expect you to die.
But you wouldn't say no to news about it. You know what I'm saying?
25.
So that was Puzzle Game of the Year. This
Yep.
next category is...
Ooh, I love this category.
yeah, it's a good one.
So, Sleeper of the Year, we have Crumbling, Escaping Wonderland, Underworld Overseer, Silent Slayer, and Shogun's Empire.
Mm-hmm. And this is the best game that got the proportional to its quality, the least amount of appropriate coverage. And that doesn't mean that the winner got no coverage. In fact, in this case, the winner of our category this year wasn't the one with the least amount of reviews or anything like that, but it's for the quality of the game. It should be everywhere on the store. It's a really good freaking game.
Yeah, it's the one that we think, for whatever reason, just isn't in everyone's hands and has all the reasons why it should be. And I'd even argue the runner-up as well. So we have the winner Sleeper of the Year would be Escaping Wonderland.
Ooh,
Yep.
Very good game that I don't think enough people have experienced.
No.
It's a very good story.
Well, it's weird, too, because you can do a lot of spoiler by talking too much or showing too much
Mm-hmm.
or saying too much.
Any puzzle game
It's
deals
just
with
one of
this.
those,
And that's a story-based puzzle one, too.
dude,
So it's
even
double.
a story. You're going to blow the story?
So
You
much
know?
of Molly's Adventure
What are you
is...
going to say?
so much of that story is what makes that experience such a good
If
and
it didn't
powerful
have
story.
the story attached to it that it has, and it was strictly just the gameplay with nice music and cool characters and shit, I wouldn't be as in touch with it as I am.
Mm-hmm. The story really got to you.
But runner up, Crumbling.
And this was a hard one because Crumbling is... honestly, all the games on this list are so freaking good. Crumbling is so much fun.
Yeah, they did a good job.
So cute.
I go back into Crumbling now and then just to see if there's any
Any new
change.
content and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So great game. But Escaping Wonderland, very hard to
They
argue
checked
with
a lot of boxes.
in that case. So best updated game of the year. I think this was our hardest category because every game on this list brought a very strong and compelling argument to be the winner. And of course, you could argue that for any game that's nominated, there should be an argument of who's the winner. But sometimes we kind of know in our heart of heart what the best, what the game of the year is, or whatever, the best, whatever genre. For this one, it took a lot of hashing out to come to what each one brought to the table and who the winner is. So for best updated game of the year, in one of the most stacked categories, we have Walkabout Mini Golf, Ghosts of Tabor, Dungeons of Eternity, Blade and Sorcery Nomad, and Golf Plus. This was a real hard one. After the dust settled, the blood dried, we patched up our wounds, we came up to the winner for this year's best updated game to be Ghosts of Tabor. And it was hard. It was really hard when you look at everything that every game on that list brought, including our runner-up, because for such a hard category, we got to have a runner-up. We had Dungeons of Eternity as our runner-up because almost all the content that they've come out with, besides their initial like holiday update last year and stuff like that, they've added so much to that game this year. If you haven't been in there since launch and you go into Dungeons of Eternity today, there's so many new room varieties, so many different weapons, increased max level. They added PvP mode, sandbox mode. Geez, another holiday update. They added so much to this game. So it was a tough one, but the winner for this year, very well deserved. We have Ghosts of Tabor.
Yeah, aside from all the fixes and the rapidness in which that studio works, it's like they put a lot on the table this year and pretty much had been delivering until the end of the year and then started the new year right where they left off. So
in my opinion, part of that ability to pump out fixes and quality of life updates and hot fixes and stuff like that is part of the reason that they get Studio of the Year. I'm sorry, part of the reason that they get best updated game of the year, because it's updates are not only content to me. Updates are maintaining that live service game, right? And that's a challenge with a game with 8,000 players and killing the hell out of each other.
True.
Next one is another one I'm out of too.
Yeah, so you got the boot on this one. So
It kicked me out, man.
it's just me and the folks.
The investors, they got me.
We've got VR Port of the Year. We have Trombone Champ Unflattened, Human Fall Flat, Tropico on MetaQuest, and Metal Hellsinger.
So let's hear who are you and our new board of directors that I'm not involved in
So
decided on the winner to be.
the winner for this year VR Port of the Year, Trombone Champ Unflattened.
Woo!
I think
Woo.
justifiably so. And
Yeah, when you
they're crushing it, and I don't believe in a nanosecond that they're anywhere done with like, okay, let's just call it a wrap.
No, they
So
just had a holiday update as well. So Tropico was a tough one to beat, though. If Trombone didn't come out this year, Trombone Champ Unflattened didn't come out this year, might have been Tropico.
if Tropico came out of the gate much stronger with its product, then I probably would have tried to do a little pushback.
There are some
But
graphical issues.
I
and
can't argue that,
fun game.
but when I also look at the, I would do it. I have every single Tropico. So I'm like, not the guy you have to sell on Tropico not being great, but I like rhythm games too. So, and it's like, and I never had played, and out of fairness, I probably should pick up Trombone Champ in flat screen just to see how it differs or whatever the case. But I can't argue with it, man. They crushed it. And again, continuing to do stuff with it.
And this next category is one that I'm so happy that we came through with this year. And it was a tough one. Go figure, the year we decided to finally do this category. It's not a clear cut. It's not easy pick'ems. We got stacked. And one of these guys might be here every freaking year just based off of their DLC habits. But we have soundtrack of the year, a category that means a lot to us. A good soundtrack. We've gone through our philosophy on it a bunch. We've heard other people philosophy. It's something we always pick the brain of audio composers whenever we get the chance. There's a lot of science that goes into making a good video game soundtrack, even a movie soundtrack, any background soundtrack. It has to be good, but it can't take your attention away. It can't get repetitive over a long period of time. And all of these games on this list nailed it. We have for soundtrack of the year nominees: Underdogs, Walkabout Mini Golf, Arizona Sunshine, the remake, and Escaping Wonderland. So one of my new favorite categories, the winner for soundtrack of the year, we have Underdogs.
Yay.
One that I want we talk about every time it comes up.
Vinyl.
I'm sorry to be annoying about it, but yes, we want a vinyl of Underdogs so bad because
Yeah, the music in that game was on point for the whole world it's in. And I'd say Walkabout Mini Golf.
they're
Jeez Louise. They crush it with their...
they're my number two on that list. They're probably going to be there every year too.
They're going to clean house in categories unless they just decide they're going to stop one day.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm actually surprised they didn't get that category this year. If at the start of the year, they would have been if I had to bet money who I thought was going to win soundtrack of the year, which I guess I can't do when I'm one of the voters as well, but
No.
they would have been my pick of who I thought. But Underdogs came in with that gnarly, just nasty.
It's the world, man.
It's so good.
They crushed it.
So good. But all those games, they did a great job with it.
All right. Next category. Fun one that's only going to get bigger and better every single month. It's not even years. It's just like we're seeing this change in front of us. But mixed reality experience of the year.
So crazy to say that too.
Who's using the space the best? Pretty impressed with the things I've been seeing so far. But this year's nominees would be nominee. The lovely nominee.
My charm
would be, listen to the advertisements. The nominees are Walltown Wonders, Home Sports, Starship Home, Last Stand, Spatial Ops, and Living Room. And there's
That's a hard one.
There's more that one could actually throw on here.
Mm-hmm.
We self-limit so it just doesn't become, but I can already see this is going to be a very interesting category coming up next year. But the winner 2024 Mixed Reality Experience of the Year is Walltown Wonders.
Very well deserved on this one. But
yeah, man,
all the nominees were good.
Between the game, the story, the graphics, they nailed it. And I'll go and place in your space, as does every one of these. This was not the easiest, like, oh, this is a slam dunk category, bro. No, really, really tough.
You got me thinking now, next year, this might not be Mixed Reality Experience of the Year. This might be Mixed Reality PvP Game of the Year, Mixed Reality Story Game of the Year.
HUD Display of the Year.
Dude, we had 2 Mixed Reality shared space, like, people using different spaces. We had 2 different Mixed Reality shooters drop in 2024. What? Mixed Reality shooters? Multiplayer?
Yeah, no, 25 is going to be really weird.
And Last Stand, you play in different environments. That's insane. So 2025, I wouldn't be surprised if we have more than one MR category. So next one, Story Game of the Year. Which game had a story in it that it got us? Maybe not in the feels always. You don't always have to make us cry, shed tears to get a nominee. But all of the stories in these games were just good. Down to a T. We have nominated Escaping Wonderland, The Pirate Queen, Batman, Underdogs, and Walltown Wonders. And with our winner for Story Game of the Year, we have, from Beyond Frames Entertainment and Cortopia Studios, Escaping Wonderland. Woo, and the crowd goes wild.
And honestly, it's like
hard to argue. That was one of those no discussion. We just
the only other one that I like in my head was like I really liked. I don't know how factually true the whole thing is, but the Pirate Queen story was pretty damn good to me. I felt like I learned something, but Escaping Wonderland just brought a little different twist on the story.
That's one that when we were playing the Pirate Queen, it got you even more than I thought it was going to. You loved it.
Yeah, because I felt like I said, man, if this is all true, that's what I just kept saying. Like, if this is true, this lady is absolutely incredible.
And the Pirate Queen is a great example of Story Game of the Year, because is it winning VR Game of the Year?
No,
it wasn't like the most innovative VR game ever. It wasn't a bad game, but it didn't it's not like you play the Pirate Queen, you're like, dude, the story was all right, but the gameplay is amazing. No, the gameplay was
all right.
It was all right, but the story is really what keeps you going in it.
Story filled up the blanks, which to me is what that was really about at the end of the day, was getting that message out. They got Lucy Liu on board. It didn't look like they had to get her kicking and screaming. Like, she wanted the story to come out. But I'm not going to ruin the Escaping Wonderland story by any means, but definitely, if you haven't already, definitely worth a check out.
Yeah, well, it's won 2 categories in this year's Game Award, so
there's a reason.
Very well deserved.
Looking good.
Next category is a real hard one.
So, Best Roguelite 2024, we have Crumbling, getting the respect and love. Crumbling is fun, huh?
Yeah, this is a hard one, dude.
Yeah, it is. Underdogs.
Right off the top, those 2. Yeah, and there's more to go.
Clone Drone in the Hyperdome.
One of my new favorite VR games as well, too.
Big Shots and Swarm 2. And the winner, man, 2024, let you guess. Underdogs.
Ooh.
Taking best, hands down. Followed up, runner-up.
A late one.
Clone Drone in the Hyperdome. And this is why we wait till the last minute, because this shit happens and it's for real. But definitely deserves the runner-up for that.
Let me pull up when that game came out. I'm having so much fun with it.
Overall, hands down, no argument, no complaint, Underdogs.
Everyone in our Discord that's talked about Clone Drone so far,
nothing negative at all.
I have it. It's like has a little touch of Mother Gunship navigation through the rooms, like picking which room you want for each reward.
Has a touch of work on my graphics,
but it's so fun. But Underdogs is unquestionably one of the best releases of this year, let alone roguelites. It is one of the best releases So
do you remember the wrestling movie Ready to Rumble?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the scene? It's right in the beginning of the movie when he goes to the counter and he's trying to return his slushie to get a free one. Because the word clone drone, he called the guy some Chrome Dome.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Chrome Dome? So every single time I say clone drone, since this game comes out, that's all I think about is that movie and that scene.
Well, how about that Clone Drone in the Hyperdome?
Clone Drone
is a sequel to, I believe it's Clone Drone in the Megadome.
Hyperdome,
which was a flat game. And then they came out with the sequel in VR.
Tina Turner.
Which is, oh no, I'm sorry. It was Clone Drone in the Danger Zone, not Megadome. Clone Drone in the Danger Zone was the first one.
They're big into 80s movies, huh?
And then, dude, 10 out of 10 on Steam. It says on Google. But then when I go to it, let me see their actual Steam ratings for that one. Overwhelmingly positive with 28,000 reviews. This game's got a cult little following.
People love it. There's a reason why it's the runner-up.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun in VR. But like I said a moment ago, Underdog
takes it.
Hard to beat. Especially coming out right fresh early in the year, like February or March too. They stamped that category
what's good
early.
I mean, it's been a year and we're still playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very positive.
So our next category, another tough one. We have best DLC releases of the year. And we have 3 rhythm games and 1 other badass in there. We have, nominated for best DLC releases of the year, we have Smash Drums, Drums Rock, Beat Saber, and Walkabout Mini Golf. Dude, Beat Saber dropped Metallica this year. So just to put some perspective on how stacked of a category it is, even with dropping Metallica this year, it was an open conversation which one of these gets it, but there can only be one. And the winner this year for best DLC releases of the year, we have Walkabout Mini Golf. And the crowd goes wild. They've done such a great job.
I can't argue with it.
$3.99 DLCs for days.
Yeah.
For days, with more on the way.
For days.
DLCs for days. They've done now bundles that you can buy all the courses as well, too. Remember, we've talked about that before. It's hitting that point that...
Dude, the simultaneous play, the ball organizer, or the licensing, they nailed the labyrinth. I mean, they don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And they, if anything, they've picked up the pace. It's, they've got their groove. They know how long it takes to do the court. I mean, dude, get the hell out.
And dude, it's also what you get in a DLC. So you get those awesome soundtracks that got them nominated for Soundtrack of the Year. But then you also get 18 holes on normal, 18 holes on hard. So 36 holes. And you get a fire. That's a big mistake. Then you get the Fox Hunt and you get all of Edward's mastermind hidden balls. So that's a lot of content for $3.99.
Can't argue it. And
you look at Holiday Hideaway. Look how many times we played that one together. So it's not even like a one and done story bait. No, you're getting so much replayability out of $3.99.
It's one of the rare older games that I'll go into and play older courses. Mm-hmm. So for a game that's been around for years, I still have no problem going in and banging out a course by myself. It's weird. But when a new course comes, holy shit, we are on it.
Cockroaches finding those balls.
Dude, it's bad. So Wicked Fun category, we stayed away from it. It's not us. This was up to the community.
It's kind of cool to be hands off of one too, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what they come up with.
This was the fan pick game of the year. What y'all called, you called. The nominees were Batman, Arcade Paradise, Steam Edition, Metro Awakening, and Dig VR. And I won't do spoilers. I'll say if there was a runner-up. You want me to go runner-up first? Runner-up would be Dig VR.
Mm-hmm.
So for all the marbles, it went to Batman. But it was neat to see the community put Dig, were the people that had access to the ability to vote. And, I can't be upset that Batman won.
No. I mean, it's funny when you leave it in the hands of the people.
Yeah.
And that's what they come up with.
So it was cool to watch it play out. But yeah, that one was all community related. Nothing to do with us other than we just tell you.
So I like the community side of things. I always like to get the peoples involved. So That'll be something we do next year again for sure. So this year, we have Publisher of the Year as our next category. These last categories, by the way, these last 5, this is where
Only take 2 hours.
this is where things get tough. So Publisher of the Year, we have Fast Travel Games, Beyond Frames Entertainment, Resolution Games, Wired Productions, and End Dreams. With the winner for this year's Publisher of the Year, we gave it to Beyond Frames Entertainment. And tough category. Really, really tough one.
Mm-hmm. Crushed it, though.
Yeah. Between their continued support of Ghost of Tabor and, of course, our sleeper game of the year,
As a whole, they know what they're doing.
Escaping Wonderland, man. Ooh.
Yeah.
And they're positioning themselves good for 2025 with our baby Grimm. I'm just saying.
I mean, I wish the discussions we have could be recorded sometimes.
Dude, we're playing so much survival games between Grimm and Green Hell VR.
Yeah, no, that's well deserved. Good job. Studio of the Year. Just another one where the discussions are real. Nominees were Resolution Games. This is just a powerful. We'll have to go out to dinner with this full list. So Resolution Games, Fast Travel Games, Mighty Coconut, My Dearest, HomeNet Games, and Vertigo Games. The winner, and there is a runner-up in this category, the winner is Fast Travel Games. The runner-up, Mighty Coconut.
Very well deserved on both ends.
Mighty Coconut this is another category where I would anticipate you're going to see them in every studio of the year, every year. Whether they win it or not, who knows? But damn, you can't ignore them as a studio for what they do.
They were the only one on the list that didn't drop multiple games this year. I mean, that's something I give Fast Travel a lot of credit for. Got them the W between dropping Mannequin and Action Hero this year. But some familiar faces that we've seen in past years and some new ones. And I have a feeling that those top 3 we listed, Resolution, Fast Travel, and Mighty Coconut,
they're heavy hitters.
it's going to be hard to shake them off the list. Just like it's going to be hard to shake off Resolution, Beyond, and Fast Travel from Publisher. So, our next one. These last 3, man. Ruff Talk VR's favorite game of the year. So it's not the best game. It's not like we're looking at what moved the industry the most, what was the best story, combination with gameplay, combination with music. This is purely what was the game we had the most fun with in 2024. And our nominees were Underdogs, Escaping Wonderland, Warplanes Air Corps, which you were like, dude, we got to throw that in. You had way too much fun with it.
Love that game.
You love all of the games in that series.
Yeah.
We also had Action Hero, which we've talked about several times on this episode and even the past weeks, how much we loved it. Shogun's Empire and Medieval Dynasty New Settlement, a game that you came to me 2 years before it ever came to VR and was like, this game is made for VR.
Yeah.
But our winner for our favorite game that came out in 2024, we have Underdogs. And we have a runner-up on this one. As hard as that was to pick a runner-up for a category like this, our runner-up this year was Escaping Wonderland.
Yep. Much love.
Underdogs, man. I don't think that there's another game that came out in 2024 that hit me with such strong, like, wow, that is fucking good.
No, dude. The character I get into with Underdogs is pretty messed up. But I can't argue with that. Somehow, some way, we messed up our list. I'm looking at the flow, and I'm like, yeah, somewhere we went wrong.
Oh, because I'm ending it?
Yes, but before we
did
go
do it
into
in
that,
slightly different order. So
yeah, let's just make sure if you want to scan, I'll scan, or I'll hold the mic while you scan, that we didn't forget anything. Because I don't know, no matter what we started with, I don't know how it's ending this way.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere I feel like, oh God, help us if we forgot something. I'd be shocked, but I just want your confirmation. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
No, it's just some weird. Maybe we never had that category to begin with. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm not upset about how it's going to end. Whew. All right. Getting excited. The final
Your last
two.
one.
Yeah. Final two. So this category, kind of a self-created one, we could say. But what's the most anticipated game of 2025 that we're waiting on?
For us, on our end.
Yes, on the selfish end of things. So the nominees were Grim, Wanderer, and all these are good. So you could just pick which one fits you. Prison Boss Prohibition, Laser Dance. I've been waiting for that one. Train Sim World.
This is
New
such a
York.
stacked category.
Requisition VR. Yeah, right. Alien Rogue Incursion on
Insurgent.
Quest. Insurgent. I'm sorry. Yeah. Alien Rogue Insurgent on Quest. Underdog Boxing. What's this? Host a banter about the terrible choice of name for your game. Interesting.
It's not that it's a bad name. It's just that it's a little...
Oh, dude, I was laughing
little close
so
to
hard
Underdogs.
when I wrote that in there. Host a banter about the terrible choice of the name, which is something we don't ever have in our
No,
notes.
that was the self joke
laugh or
about
whatever.
it. Yeah, that was a self joke about it.
Hate your friggin' name. Change your name.
But I'm
There's no
excited
reason.
about your game.
You got a great product. I'm a day oneer, but please, for the love of God, there's still time, right? Underdog Boxing. Come on, dude. Cut it out. But anyways, most anticipated game for us right now, and with a runner-up, but the winner is Grim. And there was actually two runners-up because we had one for you specifically, which should be of no surprise to anyone that's listened, but that would be Wanderer. And for myself, I am banking on Train Sim World, New York.
You're really hoping that comes out next year, too. I think it's set to, but...
I have not received an email saying, stop saying that. Amazingly, I have not received one from Shell to say, don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're onto something there. Start pushing the date forward, shall we? No. So those are our most anticipated games that we know of. Into the list of games that we don't know of is just monsters.
If you go through a lot of the winners of today, they weren't games that we knew about to end last year.
No.
They Underdogs, it just came, and then we're like, what the fuck is this? This is amazing, you know?
What the hell is this, man?
So on that, we end it with all the marbles. We have our 2024 Ruff Talk VR Game of the Year. And our nominees for this year were Batman, Behemoth, Metro Awakening, Underdogs, and Maestro. This is a tough one, man.
Such a great mix.
Hell,
Really, honest to God, dude. I couldn't be happier with how this played out.
Maestro won Meta's Game of the Year. This is a tough category, man, from top to bottom. But we have the winner for this year, Batman. And it's a hard one to disagree with, a hard one to argue against, you know? You
Trust
can
me, I play devil's advocate to every one of these, and some of them we could roll over if we wanted, but
doesn't mean it was our favorite. Our favorite went to Underdogs, but damn.
And the runner-up.
Our runner-up for this year, very well deserved. Should be as no surprise as it was our favorite game, Underdogs. Very well deserved. If Batman didn't drop this year, that would be my game of the year.
Well, and this is what, when we talked about, like, we're always making changes no matter what. Like this year, we already know for next year we're going in. There's some category changes that are going to affect Game of the Year because we're seeing the shift is happening. You know, bigger studios are going to come in, and you're going to have AAAs against really good indies. And
is that always fair? You should have a category that
not
highlights
fair.
the indies, right?
100%.
Although,
What
let's
indie
be careful,
studio
though.
is going to come out? And
Let's be careful.
Yeah.
We're saying our roadmap.
Yeah,
We've seen how this goes with other games that have come out.
Yeah, fuck that. I know.
We won't say our roadmap. I'll learn from the lessons of others.
Yeah, just say. And I honestly, I hope.
I don't want to get you going.
No, you know I'm going to get fired up any second now. I appreciate that. But you know, dude, you know other studios who are paying attention are going to realize, like, we better not post our roadmaps anymore.
Yeah, it's a different industry now.
You're asking for trouble.
If we're going to do it, we won't do this today. Maybe that's something we can have some fun with next week if the news is slow. Again, we can do kind of like a year in review, talk about like our favorite things of the year.
Yeah, this is a subject I don't want to go on. No,
Something that we saw in 2024 might have been that pendulum shift. That we've talked about for a while.
I've been like screaming from the mountains. It's like
It's ending. It's ending.
It's over. It's over. You still have.
And we don't mean amongst creators and studios and stuff. We just mean like when we got involved in the VR industry, it was everyone help each other.
No matter what.
And there's a lot of studios that still carry that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But what I mean is it's not a blanket understanding across the whole industry anymore.
No. The tide it's done as far as that goes. And that's saying you're not going to get good help from.
Like I said, a lot of studios still do embrace that
100%.
mentality, but it's just shifting. This is the year that we did see that pendulums leave and start to gain some momentum.
That thing was dropped from a mountain. Woof.
But you know what, man? When people have mouths to feed and stuff like that,
Oh, I don't have
desperate times. I'm just saying.
We knew it was going to happen anyway. So it's like, just to see it happen so quick.
It's something I'll mark that happened in 2024.
Whoa, that was pretty, right. That cut deep. But anyways, game of the year, though. All the winners. Yeah. Dude.
Look at this year, man. Look at these categories. Look how long this episode was as well, too, for what should have been a quick one. Just because, like, when you go through the list and you can't list these names to me without me being like, well, yeah, that one, I got to throw in some commentary about each one.
Oh, no.
Stacked year from top to bottom.
I feel bad for the ones that we couldn't include when we wanted to include, but sometimes it's not as easy as just like you'd think, dude. Not at all.
And as a great example, just to
and you
wrap
can't
up
have
on
emotion with it. Come on.
By the way, Clone Drone came out December 12th, right at the end of the year, and already has 323 reviews. Damn, that's why we wait till the last minute. But if you enjoyed this episode, you enjoyed the banter, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and stay tuned for next week. Oh, don't forget to join the Patreon, the Discord.
Patreon. What do I get for that?
A whole bunch of stuff. You get on-air shout-outs, access to an exclusive channel in our Discord server, and a little label that you're a Discord or a Patreon supporter.
Oh, I don't believe in labels.
In our Discord, a little indicator.
Labels. Oh, there's so many.
I think
jokes.
we call him Discord Champion is our official name. So go check out the Patreon.
It's funny nobody wants a label, but when it comes to tech shit, like everybody wants a label. I want the crown.
You get tagged properly,
right,
with it.
Oh,
so,
dude, it cracks me up.
Check out our Patreon. Check out our Discord. If you're a studio developer, check out our application for our
that's gonna
gaming
be fun.
showcase.
It's gonna be really fun.
While it was a little silly, we might have gotten sidetracked. Hope you enjoyed this year's edition of our VR award show. Very well deserved.
Happy New Year to everyone, man. We should have opened with that. But
woo!
First episode of 25.
We're alive. It's a new year.
Thank goodness.
Hopefully I don't think there's any hopefully about it. We'll be seeing you guys all.
God willing.
We'll be seeing you all again this time, this place, next year. So, ciao.